mountain formation, orography, orogenic process. It takes place orogenic process. It's called orogenic process. It's not taking one day. It's not sudden. It's very slow process. Then we used to say in our early ages, even today also, we used to say that Mount Everest is rising, and still its movement is taking place. So it's very slow process. But what is sudden process? When any volcano erupts in any place, and a volcanic eruption takes place. What happens? All of a sudden, it blasts, lava spreads, and earthquakes. Earthquakes, volcanic eruption are examples of sudden movement. So there are in internal forces, there are slow movements and sudden movements also. Okay? They are also known as endogenic. They are also known as endogenic movement. Exogenic, external, endogenic, internal. Okay. So it's responsible for various factors. The Earth's surface is subject to constant change. It's now clear that it takes place regularly, and the landforms, even the landform which has been formed, mountain is there, but erosional work is also going there. Simultaneously, erosional work is also taking place. When mountain started growing, erosional process, external or internal, we started working over it. You have seen deep work. Ever you have visited Himalayan region? Any one of you? Yeah. वैष्णो देवी के रास्ते में कुछ दिखता है आप लोग को? पहाड़ के साथ साथ lakes are there. Rivers is there. So many trees. No, I'm not talking about that.
Sir, it happened road fall.
Pardon?
Happened road fall.
Road fall.
It happened with the road
Road fall.
largest fall of happened.
Largest fall. I have seen Gundra falls, Chunha falls in Jharkhand,
This also.
and a whole thing.
Tiger.
मैं ये कह रहा था कि when we used to go in mountainous area, we find that there are mountains, and in between two mountain ranges, there a river is flowing in between that mountain. Basically, they are not two mountains. There is one mountain, but that rivers were older than that mountain, and once mountain started uplifting, the river simultaneously started its erosional work and maintained its path. Ganga, Satluj, these are very old rivers, and before the emergence of Himalayan mountain, they were there and they maintained their route, original route. Still, they are maintaining their original route. They started cutting mountains. So, mountain takes landform develops. As soon as landform develops, erosional work started working on it. That is important. That's why the landforms are that's why landforms are subject to constant change. वो लगातार बदलते रहते हैं. They used to change after some time, in the period of time. Both nature and human are responsible for these changes. Nature and human. Earlier we used to say nature, but nowadays in modern time, human has also started playing very significant role in changing the landforms. How human changes the landform?
roads,
Various types of construction,
but
development works are
for
there.
example,
Construction of dams, roads, buildings, because of population, we have cut forest also, and that also has accelerated the change in landforms.
industrialization,
So there are both natural process as well as human process which used to.
so you have to create. No, sir. Say like.
Okay, natural element. Before, so these are the two factors, natural and human factors. And again, I'm going to tell you about the fact that the surface of the earth is even all over the earth. Do you agree with me? Wherever we used to go, we find that the surface is very much even. Why?
Uneven.
Why this? Why it's uneven?
Earlier, on Earth there was mountain, it was land.
Why this happens to me?
All are
So
natural.
you all, I agree with you. It's true. You are true. The Earth's surface is uneven. So why it's uneven? This is also very important.
This is because of landform.
This is because of landforms. Yes, you are right. But why these landforms are not in everywhere? Why in Patna mountain is not here? Just I am giving example. Why it's in northern parts of India? Okay. Or why it's in the eastern coastal area there are eastern ghats? Why in Bihar it's plain? Why so?
So because of Earth, there are so many degrees of equator and the lot of cancer and all sorts. So
Exactly. External factors are also important and internal factors are also important. It's mainly because of the internal factors. Earth crust is very dynamic. We have earlier also discussed that it's dynamic, it's moving, and it's used to change regularly. Nature and human are responsible for such changes. Both nature and human are responsible for these changes. Sometimes these changes takes place. Earlier also we have discussed exogenic, endogenic. Sometimes these changes take place beneath the earth crust. Earth crust के नीचे होता है. Sometimes it takes place beneath the earth crust due to tectonic movements like folding, faulting, or rock strata, earthquakes or volcanic activity. ये हम देख रहे हैं folding, faulting. There is also joints, cracks is there. Rift bonding है ये, है ना? What happens? This is fault wave, है ना? और ये टेबलर लाइन स्ट्रक्चर जो है ये क्या होता है? मॉस होता है ना? ब्लॉक मॉस का नाम आपको सुना होगा। और लाइट टेबलर, ठीक है? तो different types of structures uh, takes place within the earth crust. ठीक है? Movement because of the movement, convectional current movement is there. Formation of ocean is taking place. Formation of continent is taking place. है ना? Mountains or geosynclines are formed there. है ना? Because of the movement, sudden movement, what happens? This type of folding, faulting takes place. है ना? Folding कहाँ मिलता है? Folding is in geosyncline you will find Himalaya is a cold mountain. It has been formed from the ocean known as Pangaea was a supercontinent. Very good. And what was the name of the ocean? It's also from P. Pangalasa. Pangalasa was the sea ocean. And there was one ocean and one continent. Okay? Which gradually drifted from one another. And different continents were from Pangaea. Okay? So, I'm not telling about Pangalasa or Pangaea. I'm just telling that what happens in oceans, they used to in ocean deposition takes place, and it forms the geosyncline. After some time, the mountain forms, evolve, and then because of rock structure, because of pressure, what happens? Folding and faulting. When folding is very steep, there is possibility of that, and faulting takes place. So all these type of activities, changes occur within the earth crust, and they form primary landforms, very basic landforms. Tectonic movements used to form earth. It moves. How does it move? It moves vertically and horizontally. When we used to see conventional current theory, there is vertical movement and there is horizontal movement. Both type of movement takes place. Now, this movement contributes to the formation of various types of platforms, and they also reshape to one another. Yes.
Quality of rock strata.
Layers, strata, layers. Different layers are there. The layers है. You just see, this is one layer. Has been slipped to, layers को strata. So, in last time we have seen that these movements contribute to the formation and reshaping of various landforms during the time. These variations in the Earth's internal, these variations takes place in the Earth's internal, and these are mainly because of the internal heat. Regularly, I am telling you about, giving you example of the continental drift theory and isostasis, plate tectonics. All these explains about the internal heat of the Earth. We all know that Earth's interior is
Very
hot and
liquid.
liquid, and in the core it's become solid, semi-solid forms, not liquid, not solid. It's like plastic state, something, like plastic state. So, because of internal heating, The geothermal gradient causes uneven distribution of energy. Because of uneven distribution of energy, it's not similar everywhere. The distribution of energy is not similar everywhere. Somewhere it's very high, somewhere it's less, somewhere it's negligible, somewhere it's very high. Because of these factors, we used to find different types of landforms at different places. This energy generates internal forces and creates different types of highlands and lowland surfaces, which are collectively known as landforms. Landforms are natural and they are highland surfaces and lowland surfaces. Plain is also a mountain is a landform and plain is a plain is also a landform. है ना? One is higher landform, one is lower landform. Okay. So, and the external forces, earlier I have also discussed with you, the external forces is primarily derived by the sunlight. And it also influences the earth surface by its heat. And when sun, if you will see at equator, what happens? This is equator. Sun shines.
Very high. Intensity of sunlight is very high.
Sun at equator, sun shines over it. Sun बिल्कुल इसके sun के ऊपर shine करता है. This results in high temperature. इसका impact होता है. Temperature is very high at equator. At the same time, rainfall is also very high in equator. What happens? Because of high rainfall and high temperature,
The maybe variation variation
बहुत ज़्यादा है. Rainforest, dense rainforest पाए जाते हैं. But I am asking about in terms of landform. What is the impact of landform? Because of high temperature and high rainfall, what happens? What is the impact of humid climate होगा? Because of hot and humid climate, what will be the impact on the landforms? This is a mountain situated at equator. The sun is shining over it. Okay? And rainfall is also very high. Very high here. What will be the impact? Temperature बहुत अधिक है.
land trees and water trees are also responsible for this. Water rainfall is not.
One is forest and one is desert.
The land nature is swampy.
आप में से any one of you are resident of Gaya or nearby Gaya?
Yes.
Have you experienced? Have you visited Gaya
Yes, sir.
in summer?
Yes.
No, sir.
In summer?
Yes,
So,
sir.
but I learned
The rising temperature.
in there are many
What is the characteristics of Gaya? I am asking you. What is the characteristics of Gaya? Gaya is
Pretty famous for the heat, the summer season.
summer season. It's famous for its heat.
Yes.
Gaya is the hottest place of Bihar. We can say. Now it's changing. The situation is different, but still, Gaya is a hot place. है ना? And in winter, what happens?
Where is the coldest?
Gaya also is the coldest place. Means temperature variation is very high in Gaya. Day temperature and night temperature also. I am telling here, sun shines overhead at equator. What happens? Temperature is very high. If temperature is high, what happens? Rock is in solid form. What will happen? In high temperature, it will expand. It will expand. Okay. Yes. Okay. Because of high temperature, what happens? The rock expands. फैलता है, फैलना और सिकुड़ना. Used to term, I use the term thawing and freezing. These are the terms. फैलना और सिकुड़ना. Basically, glacial regions में भी ये होता है. Earth hot equator पर भी या dry places पर जहाँ दिल्ली का एग्जाम्पल लगाते हैं, वहाँ barren rocks आते हैं, है ना? Aravalli region rocks are barren. What happens? I have seen, we have heard in night rocks are cracking. In daytimes they expanded, and in evening when it started squeezing. तो जब वो सिकुड़ते थे चट 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 टाइप से noise they used to create, है ना? तो they used to expand and squeeze. This ultimately what happens because of this? What happens? Rock becomes weakened in due course of time. वो फैलते हैं और सिकुड़ते हैं, and they used to become weakened in due course of time. And this this process is known as mechanical weathering. Weathering is a process called weathering, है ना? So weathering takes place. Rate of weathering will be very high in equator because of high temperature. First of all, and secondly, because the temperature high, gradually when the rock cracks, if there is a crack in between,
Sudden change of temperature.
gradually this rock will crack in due course of time.
Inside. Outside. Outside.
Pardon?
Inside.
Inside. In due course of time, what happens? There may be a crack. By squeezing, expanding, squeezing, expanding, squeezing, it becomes weakened and a rock emerges on it. Very small, tiny crack will be there. What happens? Water eats it. Okay? And if the rock is made up of different types of minerals. Okay? There may be minerals, some of the minerals may be soluble, some of the minerals may not be soluble to water. But though if there is a rock and there is a soluble mineral in it, what will happen? Rock will crack, and gradually the crack will expand, and after some time it will be disintegrated into different pieces. This stones, है ना? इस तरह का ये स्ट्रक्चर जो पहले था, अभी भी ये स्ट्रक्चर है, लेकिन the rock has been disintegrated into pieces. ठीक है? वेदरिंग ने इसको disintegrate कर दिया, break कर दिया, and gradually इस पर अब erosional process होगा. गर्मी के समय में क्या हुआ? वो रॉक जो है ना, वो गर्म हुआ, वो hilly area है. गया is a hilly area. देखिए, different types of mountains are there, है ना? Some new mountains, some old mountains, some relic mountains, है ना? गया जो जिस माउंटेन पर है वो एग्जाम्पल है relic mountain का. अवशिष्ट पर्वत जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं, बूढ़े पर्वत कह सकते हैं, old mountains, है ना? काफी पुराने माउंटेन्स हैं. अरावली हम लोग जानते हैं ना कि एग्जाम्पल ऑफ relic mountain, अरावली इज एग्जाम्पल ऑफ relic mountain. तो इस तरह से ये इरोजनल प्रोसेस काफी हुआ उस पर. और गया का स्ट्रक्चर अगर आप देखेंगे तो हो सकता है इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर, बेड स्ट्रक्चर अभी भी रॉकी
रॉकी
है ना, कहीं कहीं पर वो हिलॉक्स के रूप में अभी भी निकला हुआ है, ठीक है। लेकिन स्ट्रक्चर उसका रॉकी है। बेडरॉक, अगर उसका पेरेंट रॉक की हम बात करेंगे तो शायद वो रॉकी स्ट्रक्चर है। कहीं कहीं पर वो हिल्स इमर्ज किए हुए हैं। इरोजन का प्रोसेस उस पर हुआ है ना, पहले वो डिसइंटीग्रेट हुए, फिर वेंट्स के थ्रू, वाटर के थ्रू इरोजनल वर्क हुआ, ट्रांसपोर्ट हुए और वहां पर का मटेरियल कहीं और जाकर हो सकता है पटना या आसपास के एरिया में स्प्रेड कर गया एंड इट बिकम प्लेन एरिया। अभी वो माउंटेन था और उसके सेडिमेंट से ये सारा प्लेन डेवलप हुआ है। क्योंकि कभी ये जो एरिया होगा हो सकता है है ना, ट्रेंच था, ये गहरा खड्ड खाई था, इट वाज अ ट्रेंच लाइक स्ट्रक्चर। तो उस पे ट्रेंच पर क्या होता है, ऊपर से ये माउंटेन है, यहाँ से पानी ड्रॉप मिनरल्स या सेडिमेंट्स आ रहे हैं और ये कहाँ डिपॉजिट होंगे, जो ट्रेंच होगा, है ना। जैसे हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था शुरू में कि हिमालय, जहाँ पर नॉर्थ में हिमालय है वहां पर ओशन था, ठीक है, और उसके बाद साउथ में एक गहरा खड्ड था, देयर वाज अ डीप ट्रेंच, है ना। और उसी में हिमालय के इरोजन से जितने भी सेडिमेंट्स डिपॉजिट हुए वो डिपॉजिट होकर आजकल नॉर्दर्न प्लेन्स के रूप में हमारे सामने, ठीक है। और उसके बीच में एक ओल्ड माउंटेन था, रिलीफ माउंटेन के फॉर्म में, अरावली, सतपुरा, विंध्यंस, ये सब माउंटेन रेंजेस थे, है ना, जो उस कैम्ब्रियन पीरियड या उसके पहले के पीरियड के माउंटेन रेंजेस थे। तो काफी पुराने माउंटेन रेंजेस थे। तो ये ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस है, इरोजनल प्रोसेस जो है ना, ये लैंडफॉर्म्स एक दिन का प्रोसेस नहीं है। इट्स ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस। ये जो पूरा प्रोसेस है अर्थ स्ट्रक्चर या लैंडफॉर्म्स का जो फॉर्मेशन, ये एक दिन का प्रोसेस नहीं है ना। इट हैज टेकन मिलियंस एंड मिलियंस ऑफ इयर्स। हम सोचते हैं कि शायद एक दिन में, हम लोग जब कहते हैं कि कुछ साल के बाद हिमालय भी ओल्ड माउंटेन्स के फॉर्म में होगा कभी, तो इट मे टेक प्लेस मिलियंस एंड मिलियंस ऑफ इयर्स। एक दिन में नहीं होगा, ये बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है, स्लो प्रोसेस जिसकी हम बात कर रहे थे, स्लो एंड सडन, है ना। अर्थक्वेक जैसे स्लो है तो एक्सोजेनिक में भी स्लो प्रोसेस है। एक्सोजेनिक इज अ वेरी स्लो प्रोसेस, एंडोजेनिक में स्लो एंड सडन प्रोसेस आर देयर, है ना। व्हेन volcanic eruption takes place, when earthquake takes place, sudden movement कहा जाता है इसको, they are called sudden movements. Do you remember the tsunami?
Yes, yes.
What happened at that time?
Sir, at that time, in ocean.
There was an earthquake in ocean, okay, under ocean. And when the earthquake comes under ocean, what happens? The sea waters, waves जो है, the waves comes on the earth surface, because land, है ना, and that is called tsunami. What happened at the time of tsunami? There was geographical significance in terms of landform. In India itself, which one is the southern tip of India? Southern tip of India. Southern part of India. I'm not the southern. Southern tip is Kanyakumari, Indra Point. I'm not. I will tell you in details in next class. There was some changes in the southern tip Indra Point at the time of tsunami. Means at the time of the earthquake. That earthquake, southern point इंदिरा पॉइंट में भी कुछ जोग्राफिकल चेंज आया, शायद वो थोड़ा शिफ्ट कर गया, सबमर्ज कर गया, कुछ इस तरह की घटना थी। I will give you details next class. Means it brings changes, है ना, sudden movement setting change आता है। भुज earthquake, है ना, आप लोग सुने हैं भुज का? भुज 2000 there was an earthquake in Gujarat. Disaster 26 जनवरी के दिन ही हुआ था वो earthquake, है ना। We were going to bag off in our college and schools, and all of a sudden we heard that there is an earthquake in Bihar. है ना, बहुत सारे बच्चे मर गए थे बिकॉज असेंबली का टाइम था, है ना, बहुत सारे बच्चे मार्च पास कर रहे थे, पतली गलियां थी, नैरो लेन्स में थे, टॉल बिल्डिंग्स में थे, वो कोलैप्स कर गए। वो एक अलग है, वो डिजास्टर हुआ। लेकिन अर्थक्वेक, वहां पर भी जब अर्थक्वेक आया तो वो रॉकी स्ट्रक्चर था। कहा जाता है कि दैट वाज स्टेबल लैंड। कभी वहां पर प्रेडिक्ट नहीं करते थे लोग कि वहां अर्थक्वेक आएगा, जिस तरह का स्ट्रक्चर है उसका, है ना। लेकिन वो कुछ चेंज लाते हैं। अर्थक्वेक जब आएगा कुछ ना कुछ लैंडफॉर्म में चेंज आता है। जैसे आपको मैंने बताया कि फॉल्ट लाइन बना है ना, जहाँ कन्वर्ज भी करते हैं ओशन, देयर आर प्लेट्स, है ना, व्हेन दे कन्वर्ज, है ना, ओशनिक प्लेट कन्वर्ज विद कॉन्टिनेंटल प्लेट्स, है ना, फ्रिक्शन टेक्स प्लेस, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट फ्रिक्शन, उस फ्रिक्शन के कारण अर्थक्वेक्स वी एक्सपीरियंस अर्थक्वेक्स। तो the energy generates internal forces that create different types of high and low level land surfaces, which are collectively known as landforms. External forces are primarily driven by the sunlight and also influence the earth surface. And we were on this point basically. These forces include weathering, erosion, and deposition, as they are responsible for changes that happen over the surface. Is it clear? These forces include, the first term is weathering. Weathering, we have just now discussed weathering because of, है ना,
cold and hot weather.
erosion. After weathering, erosional work takes place. Okay, and there are different agents of erosion. है ना, this erosion will take place because of
Temperature.
pipe, wind. Erosion will take place by
Wind, water, short time of temperature.
water, rainfall.
Grazing. Sir,
or,
grazing.
uh,
Grazing.
Landslide.
glacier. They are agents of erosion.
Deforestation.
No, deforestation is the impact, is the result of erosion. Erosional work होता है तो जितने भी plants उसके surface पर थे, they cleared, है ना, they flowed away, and so what wind is one agent. Weathering, we have studied about weathering, and the weathering, because of weathering it weakens the rock and disintegrates into pieces, and once it has been disintegrated into pieces, erosional work takes place. Wind की कैपेसिटी इतनी नहीं है कि वो इतना बड़ा पत्थर को उठा कर ले जाएगा, ठीक है, लेकिन
Tiny particles.
वो क्या करता है, स्प्रॉल करता है उसके साथ लार्ज पार्टिकल। अगर ड्राई एरिया है, बहुत तेज विंड वेलोसिटी इज वेरी हाई, है ना, डेजर्ट एरिया में वो क्या करेगा, उसको शायद स्प्रॉल करेगा, पहले से जो उसके साथ सैंड पार्टिकल्स हैं वो उस पर अटैक करेगा।
Dust को उड़ के भी आ जाते हैं.
डस्ट उड़ के आता है ना, वही बता रहे हैं, डस्ट जो आता है वो क्या है, डस्ट में विंड में जो डस्ट होते हैं वो क्या है, दे एक्ट एज अ टूल।
Salt present in water.
नहीं, दे एक्ट एज अ टूल। आप कभी आंधी फेस की हो, बहुत तेज आंधी,
Yes, sir.
कैसा फील होता है उस समय,
Sir, dust particles are in water.
क्या होता है?
We automatically close our eyes.
We used to close our eyes, वो चेहरे पर लगता है, चोट लगता है,
Yes, sir.
आपको
BP.
मेरा अपना एक अनुभव है, I think more than 30 years when I was also a student, I was passing through the Rajendra file. Maybe I was returning from the college or so. All of a sudden, very stream of very high speed emerged, and you will remember that earlier there was stone chips used to sold around the Rajendra road. स्टोन चिप्स बिकता था वहाँ बेचते थे लोग रखा था तो इतना तेज आने था कि स्टोन चिप्स तो नहीं उड़ सकता है लेकिन उसके जो डस्ट पार्टिकल्स थे कोर्स डस्ट कोटेड डस्ट पार्टिकल वो उड़कर आ रहे थे और वो चोटी नहीं लग रहा था उससे लग रहा था कि सांस रुक जाएगा इतना तेज आंधी थी है ना आज भी हमको याद है वो तो उस तरह का डस्ट स्टॉर्म चलता है डेजर्ट्स में जिसमें कोर्स बड़े बड़े डस्ट के पार्टिकल्स भी जो होते हैं वो उड़ते हैं और उस पर हम लोग बाद में आएंगे जब एजेंट्स ऑफ विंड हम लोग पढ़ेंगे लेकिन ये क्या करता है वो एक टूल के रूप में एक्ट करता है विंड्स वाटर ग्लेशियर्स ये लोग जैसे जैसे ही ये डिसइंटीग्रेट हो गया पार्टिकल्स टूटा बड़ा माउंटेन ब्रेक किया या एक पीस ऑफ लैंड इतने बड़े पार्टिकल पर इरोजनल वर्क आसान नहीं है ना वेदरिंग के प्रोसेस से वो डिसइंटीग्रेट होता है once disintegration takes place erosional work starts there ठीक है अब उस पर वाटर भी जो है वो उसको मूव करेंगे आप वैष्णो देवी गए होंगे रिवर बेड में देखते हैं पेबल्स होता है हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है हमारे यहाँ सैंड पार्टिकल्स होते हैं इवन मड्स होते हैं है ना कीचड़ जैसा हमारे यहाँ वो और भी बारीक हो गया होता है ना सोन रिवर में आप देखेंगे सैंड्स मिलता है ना क्रिस्टल्स मिलता है डेपोट मिलता है हिमालयन रीजन में आप वैष्णो देवी की बात करें आप रिवर बेड में भी सारे इतने बड़े बड़े टेबल्स होते हैं इतना बड़ा बड़ा या उससे भी बड़ा उस पर बैठ कर खड़ा होकर यूज टू गो फॉर फोटोग्राफी होता है एक्साइटमेंट एंड समटाइम्स टेक्स प्लेस सीरियस एक्सीडेंट टेक्स प्लेस है ना ऑल ऑफ अ सडन वाटर टर्न्स एंड हजारों लड़के दर्जनों लड़के कुल्लू में आई रिमेंबर वो बह गए थे they were taking selfie in the Bias river I think 5 to 6 years back so after weathering erosional work takes place and wind water glacier underground water is also there underground water all these play important role in the changing the shape of the landforms. Okay. Same word is there. In other words, it alters or modifies the structure of the landform over the time. Okay. For example, large mountains may gradually erode into smaller hills, which I was telling. है ना गया कभी बहुत बड़ा पर्वत रहा होगा आज because of the gradual erosional work it has become there are few hillocks are there जैसे अरावली आप जाएंगे तो देखेंगे कहीं कहीं पर एक कंटिन्यूअस रेंज के रूप में भी मिलता है बहुत सारे जगह उसमें हाइट है बहुत सारी जगह वो एकदम फ्लैट लैंड के साथ मिल गया है because of the process of gradual process of erosion and eventually it becomes flat land in due course of time हो सकता है आने वाले कुछ 210 साल 1 लाख 2 साल 2 लाख 2 लाख after 5 lakh of years or 1 million years back it will become a flat land ठीक है तो ये this is the nature of the landforms it shows that the earth surface are that's why the earth surface are not even everywhere है ना there is variation in the earth surface some place is flat land some place is mountain somewhere there is plateau है ना because of the external forces and because of the internal forces okay the external forces are also known as exogenic forces which I have discussed with you earlier and the exogenic forces external forces and internal forces are known as endogenic forces ठीक है in general terms endogenic forces are land building forces कभी भी आप देखेंगे एंडोजेनिक फोर्स जो है वो लैंड का फॉर्मेशन किस तरह के लैंड फॉर्म्स के फॉर्मेशन में इन्वॉल्व होता है ना। कॉन्टिनेंट्स का फॉर्मेशन हो रहा है, माउंटेन्स फॉर्म हो रहे हैं, जो सिंक्लाइन बन रहा है ना, इंटरनल कन्वेक्शनल करंट ऑफ फ्लूइड जो हमने देखा है, एक जगह वो सिंक्लोन का फॉर्मेशन, सिंक्लोन इज फॉर्मिंग एट वन प्लेस एंड एट अनदर प्लेस जो सिंक्लाइन इज डेवलपिंग, है ना। एंड इसका गैंगेटिक वेव का परफेक्ट एग्जांपल, हाँ यस। तो एंडोजेनिक फोर्सेस आर लैंड बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस, है ना, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। इट्स अ लैंड बिल्डिंग फोर्स, एंडोजेनिक फोर्स is a land building force. This type of questions comes in PT, है ना। एक्सोजेनिक फोर्सेस, एंडोजेनिक फोर्सेस, क्या किस तरह के लैंड फॉर्म बनेंगे, ठीक है। तो ये लैंड बिल्डिंग फॉर्म फोर्सेस है, इसमें कभी ना कभी बिल्डिंग लैंड का फॉर्मेशन हो रहा है, इधर माउंटेन्स बन रहे हैं, कॉन्टिनेंट्स बन रहे हैं, सी ओशन, है ना। और एक्सोजेनिक फोर्सेस आर लैंड बेयरिंग फोर्सेस। हम लोगों ने देखा इरोजनल वर्क कर रहा है, इरोजन, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड डिपोजिशन, ये प्रोसेस इसमें हो रहा है, इज अ लैंड बेयरिंग फोर्स। एक्सोजेनिक फोर्सेस या प्रोसेस इज अ लैंड बेयरिंग प्रोसेस। एक्सोजेनिक प्रोसेस में हम लोगों ने देखा था ये मिल्क किस तरह से डिसइंटीग्रेट हो गया पीसेस में, है ना, और उस पर इरोजनल एजेंट वर्क करने लगे एंड ग्रेजुअली वो उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करके ले आते हैं और किसी एक प्लेन एरिया में डिपॉजिट कर देते हैं, है ना, और वो फ्लैट प्लेन के रूप में डेवलप करता है। तो एक्सोजेनिक इज अ लैंड बेयरिंग प्रोसेस। इसको हम लोग वी विल फर्दर डिस्कस दिस पॉइंट इन मोर डिटेल्स in the coming classes, okay, because it's another separate chapter on endogenic and exogenic forces, in which we will discuss in more details on the different factors, different types of exogenic and endogenic forces. Thus, collectively, both these forces, exogenic and endogenic forces, are responsible in the formation of different types of landforms. And now, these are the topics, these are the factors which are responsible for the formation of any landforms. There are 8 factors which are responsible for the formation of different types of landforms over the Earth's surface. Okay, and the most important is we have already discussed, that is rock composition. Do you have any idea of rock composition? Rock composition कहते हैं किसको? Rock is made up of minerals. Maybe one mineral, two mineral, several minerals. Okay. So what is composition? Means rock made up of.
more than one type of
Whether it is made up of rock is made up of which type of minerals? Soluble to water, non-soluble to water, hard minerals, soft rock minerals, hard rock, soft rock. That is the meaning of composition. And the other words we used to say it parent rock. I was just giving you example of Gaya that it's made up of rocks. Rock it may be hard rock, it may be soft rock. If rock will be soft, what will happen? Nature of rock. This is important. Nature of rock. What is the nature or type of rock? This is important. It may be made up of hard rock, will be made up of softer rock. It may be made up of rocks which is soluble to water. So, what is the nature of the parent rock? This is important. Okay, landform के formation में ये बहुत important factor. This is one of the very important factor. If the rock is hard, what will be what will be the result? Erosional work will take place very easily. If the rock will be hard,
Hard.
if the rock will be hard, the erosional work will take place very rapidly. Am I right or wrong?
So you are wrong.
I'm wrong. I think so. Why?
When the rock are hard, erosion not
Will not take place
very
rapidly. It will take place slowly. है ना? You are right. You just build your confidence. I may be wrong many times, and I am also not a very good student. I was also a very poor student of my times, but I improved myself and I started studying, and now become. I was also a good student of my times, but my mother used to say, "I want to see how do you teach to others," because I was a very poor student of my family. है ना? जैसे मैराडोना के बारे में फेमस है ना कि वो बहुत अपने परिवार का सबसे खराब बच्चा था। मैराडोना जानती है मैराडोना को? He was the legendary football player of his time. है ना? सबसे बढ़िया फुटबॉल प्लेयर था इस समय का, लेकिन लोग कहते हैं कि वो अपने परिवार का काफी खराब बच्चा था। खराब कोई नहीं होता है ना? Everyone has its own quality, characteristics, ठीक है? रॉक्स के साथ भी वही है ना? तो रॉक्स अगर हार्ड है, if the parent rock is hard, erosional work will very slow. Rock is soft. Hard rock का example, any example of hard rock you have? In those rock, different types of rocks are there. Igneous rock, sedimentary rock.
Sedimentary rocks are hard.
Anyone else? Sedimentary rock is not. Igneous rock is there. है ना? Basically quartz rocks made up of quartz are hard rocks. है ना? Quartzite is a hard rock. Marble, sand, marble is a lime made up of lime is a soft rock. है ना? So black stone made up of igneous rock. है ना? Igneous rock जो कि मेटामॉर्फोज है वोल्केनिक इरप्शंस के बाद है हाई हीट एंड प्रेशर इट हैज बीन चेंज वो हार्ड रॉक के नेचर में आ जाएगा तो इफ द रॉक इज हार्ड द इरोजनल वर्क विल बी स्लो दिस by if the rock is hard erosional work will slow so the rate of formation of the landform will vary ठीक है but the rock is soft the rate of erosion will become very high and it will give the shape of a new landform very quickly. ठीक है limestone is good example of soft rock. Quartz is example of hard rock.
Also an example of soluble.
Soluble rocks, exactly. There may one rock may have different characteristics. Also, minerals हैं वो soluble भी होगा, non soluble भी होगा, है ना? तो अब ये एग्जांपल आपके पास है, आप उसकी जगह आप यूज कर सकते हैं लाइमस्टोन है, लाइमस्टोन बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल होता है इसलिए हम लोग बहुत जल्दी उसको कोट कर देते हैं, है ना? ये हर जगह फिट करता है। तो समझने के लिए ये आई थिंक इट्स सफिशिएंट व्हेन द रॉक इज हार्ड पेरेंट रॉक का नेचर क्या है वो हार्ड होगा लैंडफॉर्म्स के डेवलपमेंट तो वहां भी होंगे लेकिन रेट ऑफ स्पीड जो है वो इट विल बी स्लो रॉक सॉफ्ट होंगे वहां पर इरोजनल वर्क विल बी फास्ट डिकम्पोजिशन वेदरिंग का प्रोसेस फास्ट होगा ठीक है रॉक जल्दी डिकम्पोज हो जाएंगे डिसइंटीग्रेट होंगे और इरोजनल एजेंट्स जो हैं उसको बहुत आसानी के साथ अपने साथ उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करेंगे और एक नया लैंडफॉर्म डेवलप कर देंगे ठीक है तो उसी तरह से अगर सॉल्युबल टू वाटर है, अगेन इट्स एग्जांपल ऑफ लाइमस्टोन, है ना, ये रॉक है, स्ट्रक्चर है, बेड है रॉक का, हार्ड रॉक है और सॉफ्ट रॉक है। What will happen? The agent of erosion, whether wind or water or glacier, any agent, what will they do? They will start acting on it. है ना? Start acting on it. Means erosion will take place here only. है ना? And they will first of all they will do this. Okay? And a different type of landform will take place here. है ना? So, parent rock is very important in the formation of landform. ठीक है? Next is relief. Do you have any idea of relief? What do you mean by relief? Pardon? Relief किसको कहते हैं?
Sir, relief land is an example of landform which is in desert area.
No, relief is not a landform. रिलीफ को हिंदी में हम लोग उच्चावच ये शब्द का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, रिलीफ।
Sir,
हाँ,
highest and lowest point of area. Relief will be sir, this is in desert, occurred in desert area.
any level, ये एक प्लेटफॉर्म है, सपोज कीजिए, है ना, ये 0 डिग्री हाइट पर है और ये 100 मीटर्स की हाइट पर है। जस्ट रिलीफ इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द हाईएस्ट एंड लोएस्ट पॉइंट। ये जो डिफरेंस है इसी को हम हाईएस्ट एंड लोएस्ट पॉइंट के डिफरेंस को हम रिलीफ करते हैं, ठीक है। एंड इफ द रिलीफ of any place is high, what will happen?
It form like an mountain.
Suppose weathering has taken place. Weathering has taken place. Agent of erosion is river. Okay. And all of a sudden, rainfall takes place here. What will happen?
Landslide.
Why landslide? Always you are giving to the landslide is a very recent phenomenon. Mass movement of earth takes place here, है ना, in this form. It's form of disaster also. Landslides होते हैं, पहले नहीं होते थे, लेकिन आज ये बहुत ज्यादा होने लगे। पहले because of plants, है ना, they used to control landslides. Plant acts as a biological agent of erosion also, but at the same time it protects erosional work also. Wash away को एकदम रोक देता है ना, वो एक नेचुरल प्रोसेस है डिसइंटीग्रेट करने में, रॉक को डिसइंटीग्रेट करने में, माउंटेन्स के रॉक को डिसइंटीग्रेट करने में, है ना, वो हेल्प करता है। लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम इट कंट्रोल्स द इरोजनल वर्क आल्सो, इतने स्पीड से नहीं होने देता है। तो बारिश होगी यहाँ पर तो क्या होगा?
बारिश होगी, होते वो स्टोन वाटर से और फ्लो डाउन। You know, sir, it form like small ponds.
बारिश अगर ये रिलीफ हाई है, बारिश होगी तो बारिश का पानी काफी तेजी से फ्लो होगा, है ना, और उसके कारण क्या होगा? अल्टीमेटली व्हाट हैपन? erosional work will be also
take place.
high,
Right.
है ना? erosional work will be also high. अब बारिश यहाँ कब होता है? This is a flat area, comparatively, है ना? This is a flat plain area. It's this one. यहाँ पर relief is very nominal or almost nil, है ना? What will happen? While the rainfall is taking place here, slope is high. What will happen? Erosional work will take place, है ना? And it will be higher, है ना? But in flat area, well, there is very less slope or no slope. बारिश, what will happen? In Patta, what happens when rainfall takes place? है ना? Water logging takes place, है ना? There is no space for drainage, है ना? Slope is not there, very less slope. So ultimately, water becomes stagnant at places. So same is the condition with plains. In fields you might have seen, खेत पे आप लोगों ने देखा होगा जब धान की खेती होती है, बारिश होता है. हमारे यहाँ आपको I'm just giving you examples. You are from Jharkhand also, you have studied there, I think.
No, sir.
Nursing course.
Sir, at that time when I completed my nursing, there was a time of corona.
Okay, so you have used the
I-
online time.
Online class.
Okay, but I'm just giving you example. Jharkhand is a hilly place, plateau area, Chota Nagpur plateau area,
Yes.
mountainous area. I'm just giving you limit है ना? Suppose this is Chota Nagpur area, ठीक है? Have you seen fields of Chota Nagpur? रांची वगैरह आप लोग कभी घूमने गए हैं? रांची झारखंड के किसी पार्ट में?
Yes, sir. Kudru waterfall.
उधर कहीं बारिश वगैरह होता देखे हैं आप?
Yes.
कैसा होता है? बारिश होता है तो क्या होता है वहाँ पर? वहाँ भी खेती होती है. Farming takes place there also. Farmlands are there.
At that valley when I go.
Because of slope,
हाँ.
वो लोग उस पर डिफरेंट फंड्स लगाते हैं, टैक्स लगाते हैं वाटर को
सर
रोकने
रोकने
के लिए.
के लिए.
जैसे कि ये स्लोप होता है ना? स्लोप है, बारिश होगी, रेनफॉल टेक्स प्लेस, इट विल मूव डाउन, है ना? वो वाटर लॉगिंग वहाँ नहीं होगा. वाटर लॉगिंग विल नॉट टेक प्लेस, ठीक है? बिकॉज ऑफ एनफ स्लोप, द रेन वाटर कम्स डाउन, है ना? एंड व्हेन इट कम्स डाउन, it starts, the erosional work takes place. But in flat area where there is very less slope, what will happen? Erosion will be very slow. So relief also plays very significant role. है ना? In mountainous area it will become very high. I am giving you example of Ganga itself. You might have seen Ganga regularly, है ना? What happens? Slope, because very less slope. What happens? Ganga water is almost stagnant, है ना? Current is very less. When you have gone to Vaishno Devi and you have seen river, there the water flows very fast because of this flow relief. Because of this relief, Himalaya, this is the top, है ना? And this is Ganga. Where we are standing here, we are here, है ना? Ganga meets to Ganga meets to Bay of Bengal, है ना? At West Bengal, known as Sundaran Delta. Okay, so where there is sea, at sea, what is the height of sea? Hmm? We used to measure height of any place. We used to measure any height of any place in reference to sea, है ना? Means sea is the base level. We treat, कहते हैं ना लोग कि समुद्र का पानी हर समय स्थिर रहता है, वो एक लेवल पर ही होता है, ठीक है? But because of global warming, now situations are changing, है ना? Lower parts are submerging, sea level is rising, है ना? खैर, लेकिन वो एक static feature है. Base level हम लोग define करते हैं, और sea का जो base level होता है वो it becomes zero होता है, और उससे हम मेजर करते हैं हाइट को. माउंट एवरेस्ट का हाइट, डू यू रिमेंबर द हाइट ऑफ माउंट एवरेस्ट? 8,848 meters. So in reference to mean sea level, बेस लेवल से समुद्र से उसका ऊंचाई समुद्र से उसकी ऊंचाई 8,848 मीटर की है ना, इन रेफरेंस टू मीन सी लेवल, ठीक है। तो रिलीफ इज इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है ना, व्हेन वी यूज टू स्टडी द लैंडफॉर्म्स एंड व्हेन पर्टिकुलरली व्हेन द फैक्टर्स आर कंसर्न, दिस इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर। रिलीफ अगर होगा तो वो इरोजनल वर्क को स्पीड करेगा और स्लो करेगा, गाइड्स द रेट ऑफ इरोजन। थर्ड इज जियोलॉजिकल फॉर्मेशन, जिसकी हम लोगों ने काफी चर्चा की है। फोल्ड, बॉर्ड्स, ये सारे प्रोसेसेस हैं, है ना। इंडोजेनिक, एक्सोजेनिक, जितने ये सारे फैक्टर्स हैं, ये सब इसके भीतर आते हैं। और जियोलॉजिकल फॉर्मेशन, इसमें हम लोग डिफरेंट लेयर्स ऑफ रॉक जो है ना, उसकी वी यूज टू स्टडी लेयर्स ऑफ रॉक। स्ट्रक्चर क्या है रॉक का, रॉक स्ट्रक्चर, स्लोप है ना, एंटीक्लाइन, सिंक्लाइन, क्या होता है, ठीक है, ये हम बताएंगे आपको। एक डायग्राम दिया है, उसमें आप देखेंगे फोर्स होता है ना माउंटेन में, देयर आर फोर्स, है ना। ठीक है, ये फोर्स है और फोर्स में ही एंटीक्लाइन, सिंक्लाइन पाए जाते हैं। और जब कभी प्रेशर बहुत हाई होता है तो ये फोर्स कहीं कहीं से क्रैक भी करते हैं। बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर होगा तो फोर्स जो है वो काफी मुड़ जाता है। तो रॉक का इलास्टिसिटी इज लिमिटेड, इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ रॉक इज आल्सो वेरी लिमिटेड, है ना। एट अ सर्टेन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इट विल बिकम क्रैक, और वहां पर बॉर्ड का फॉर्मेशन होता है, ठीक है, जहां पर काफी स्टीप बेंड होगा। एग्जांपल आपको मालूम है, ये एग्जांपल जो है आइडिया इन इंडिया माउंटेन, हिमालयन माउंटेन रेंज में ओल्ड माउंटेन है, लेकिन एक जगह वहां पर उसमें क्रैक भी है, बेंड है, और वो बेंड काफी हेयर पिन बेंड जैसा है, और वहां पर वो क्रैक है ना, नेपी जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं। इंडिया का मैप याद लीजिए, नॉर्थ ईस्ट का जो पार्ट है ना, ये अरुणाचल प्रदेश के पास, यहाँ पर एक शार्प बेंड है और यहाँ पर फॉल्ट है, ये डिस्कन है आपको तो आप, मेरा ये कहना है कि ये सिंक्लाइन है, सिंक, सिंक पढ़ते हैं ना, सिंक, सिंक होता है ना गड्ढा, सिंक लाइन, और ये है एंटीक्लाइन, और भाग है इस एंटीक्लाइन एंड सिंक्लाइन, इसमें भी वो एंटीक्लाइन सिंक्लाइन होता है ना। तो हम ये कह रहे थे कि जियोलॉजिकल फॉर्मेशंस, एंटीक्लाइन, सिंक्लाइन, बॉर्ड्स, ये सारी चीज जो है used to study under geological formations, है ना। इसको हम ब्रॉडली भी आगे डिस्कस करेंगे। एक्सोजेनिक एजेंट्स, एक्सोजेनिक एजेंट्स, डिफरेंट एजेंट्स which works on the modification of landform, है ना, erosional work, transportational work and depositional work which takes place, है ना, different agents comes under exogenic agent. Climate is also one of the very important factor. I have earlier हाँ, वो तो एक अलग चैप्टर है, लेकिन क्लाइमेट प्लेस वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट रोल। अगर हम कहें कि दो तीन चीजें जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं तो वो रॉक स्ट्रक्चर, रिलीफ, क्लाइमेट, ये दो तीन पार्ट जो है ना, ये अगर आप ढंग से समझ रहे हैं तो आप उसके लैंडफॉर्म्स को वेरी इजिली यू कैन एक्सप्लेन, है ना। क्लाइमेट प्लेज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन दिस। वी यूज टू स्टडी टेम्परेचर, रेनफॉल, है ना। टेम्परेचर एंड रेनफॉल के वेरिएशंस को हम लोग स्टडी करते हैं। यूज टू स्टडी वेरिएशंस ऑफ टेम्परेचर एंड रेनफॉल अंडर क्लाइमेट, ठीक है। वेदर और क्लाइमेट में डिफरेंस होता है, मालूम है ना। क्या है व्हाट इज वेदर?
वेदर शॉर्ट टाइम चेंजेबल होता है और क्लाइमेट लॉन्ग टर्म चेंजेबल,
लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोसेस है। तो टेम्परेचर और रेनफॉल जो है अपने आप में इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं लैंडफॉर्म्स के डेवलपमेंट में। जैसे हम लोगों ने शुरू में देखा था कैसे वेदरिंग के प्रोसेस में वो हेल्प करते हैं। सॉफ्ट रॉक हो, हार्ड रॉक हो, उसके इरोजनल प्रोसेस में जहाँ टेम्परेचर हाई होगा वहाँ हार्डर रॉक में भी रेट ऑफ इरोजन कंपैरेटिवली हाई होगा इन कंपैरिजन टू दूसरे एरिया, इन कंपैरिजन टू अदर एरिया वेयर देयर इज टेम्परेचर इज लो एंड रेनफॉल इज आल्सो लो, है ना। थर्ड इज एनर्जी। ये फिर एनर्जी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है और ये ओवर रिपीटिशन भी है। इसके भीतर एक्सोजेनिक एंड एंजियोजेनिक दोनों ही फोर्सेस के एनर्जी को हम लोग स्टडी करते हैं। कन्वेक्शनल करंट, करंट प्रोसेस बिल्डिंग, इंटरनल करंट बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस, है ना। कांच दस के भीतर वो कैसे हो रहा है उसकी भी स्टडी करते हैं। और सोलर एनर्जी या जो टेम्परेचर है हम उसकी भी यूज टू स्टडी दैट आल्सो अंडर दिस कंपोनेंट, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट इज बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटीज। बायोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटीज क्या है? It's under this we used to study the role of vegetation, how it acts as an agent of erosion, ठीक है। वो कैसे, how it responds, है ना, how it acts on the landforms and in modification of the landforms। और last है human actions, how do we as a human being are responsible in the modification of landforms। तो इसको थोड़ा डिटेल से हम देख लेते हैं। Rock composition, the parent rock or original rock and gets weathered depending on the hardness of the rock and the climate of the region, ठीक है। Parent rocks are original rock। Parent rocks are original rocks, है ना। In due course of time, they get weathered weathered
sir notes sir free drop
depending on the hardness of the rock and climate of the region, okay, clear। Parent rocks are original rocks and gets weathered, है ना। This rock gets weathered, है ना। In different regions and different way. Means this is the equator. The rate of erosion will be different at this region in comparison to this region. Okay? Because here temperature is high and rainfall is also high. Although the rock is hard in nature, but because of high temperature and high rainfall, weathering process will be comparatively fast in this region, and the rock will be disintegrated, and the other agents of erosion will start working. What will the other agent of erosion here in this part equatorial part.
Sunlight, rainfall.
Other agents of erosion. Must be clear to you what are the different agents of erosion. Agents of erosion I have written earlier also.
Water weight और ग्लेशियर के अलावा बताना
हैं?
वाटर वेट और ग्लेशियर के अलावा
अगर उसके अलावा भी आपको याद आ रहा है तो बताइए. Water rainfall नहीं. Winds is one of the agents. Another agent is water. Another agent is glacier. Another agent is
weight, tide,
another agent is
weight,
water, glacier,
underground water.
so how is it affected underground water?
There are underground waters also, है ना? And there are rocks which are soluble to water. है ना? They used to act, है ना? In that situation. Underground water. Then there is oceanic waves and currents. Oceanic waves and currents also works as an agent of erosion. Tides, all these are agents. But why these are agents? Because they are wearing down the rock.
Yes.
Bigger piece of rock has been disintegrated or eroded into smaller pieces. है ना? Satellite in upper course, after weathering process, it starts eroding big boulders. है ना? बड़े boulders they used to roll on the bed of the river. बड़े boulders roll करते हैं जब अभी जो heavy rainfall हो रहा था रिवर ब्यास में बड़े boulders उसमें रोल कर रहे हैं, है ना? बरकरार रहे हैं. And what is the process when they are moving in the river bed with water? What they do? जब अपने साथ बह रहे होते हैं नदी के पानी के साथ क्या करते हैं?
ये नदी में जो नीचे सैंड करते हैं उसको भी बहाते हुए लेके जाते हैं
उसको बहाते हुए लेकर ही नहीं जाते हैं. ये आपस में भी
टकराते हैं
टकराते हैं. They used to collide with one another and friction takes place. And because of that friction, erosional works takes place. ये आपस में टकराते हैं. They used to frict with one another, and by colliding with one another, the erosional works takes place. ठीक है? There are small pebbles also which is moving with these big boulders. They also work as an agent. They used to also collide with larger rocks. They also in that process they are also eroded and they also erode the bigger boulders. है ना? So by friction, the erosional works takes place. River water, current of river also erodes them. आप कभी पेबल्स को हाथ में लेके देखिए कितना फाइन होता है वो, एकदम ग्लास की तरह क्रिस्टल एकदम फाइन होता है, एकदम राउंड शेप में होगा, कुछ एज में भी होगा, फाइन एज भी होंगे. वो कहाँ से बनता है? फ्रिक्शन से, बिकॉज ऑफ फ्रिक्शन एंड एट द सेम टाइम बिकॉज ऑफ द वाटर करंट. है ना? दोनों एक्ट करते हैं, एक्ट एज ए टूल इन इरोडिंग द big boulders into pebbles, into small grains, ores, है ना? To sands, and lastly to be converts it into the muds. तो ये पूरा process है. Because of the climate, it depends, है ना? Because of the climate के कारण इसमें difference हम पाते हैं. If it's I'm just giving you example of river, but in case of high altitude, what will happen? if this phenomena takes place in high altitude, rock, buried rock is there, okay, and it's a glacier, what will happen? Same process will take place. Summer and winter also comes there, है ना? Or day and night also takes place, है ना? So what happens in day? Ice melts, some very nominal melting takes place, है ना? Heat is there. So what happens? Same rock. This rock, this rock, which has been disintegrated into pieces, है ना? Before coming into this portion, earlier it was a hillock type of structure, hill type of structure was there. But because of freeze and thaw, बर्फ के जमने और सिकुड़ने और फैलने की जो प्रोसेस थी, है ना, the process of freezing and thawing in which region? In polar region, higher altitude region, polar region, या higher altitude region. What happens? Freeze and thaw process is there, है ना? बर्फ जमते हैं और रात में दिन में पिघलते हैं, जमते हैं और दिन में पिघलते हैं. तो इस प्रोसेस से क्या होता है कि छोटा सा भी अगर क्रैक अगर रॉक में आए तो एक बूंद ऑफ वन ड्रॉप ऑफ वाटर इज देयर बिकम फ्रीज इन डे इट बेड्स डाउन अगेन फ्रीज अगेन बेड्स डाउन. बट दिस प्रोसेस expansion and contraction takes place within the rock. ठीक है? And similarly that we have seen there in equatorial region rainwater, similar process takes place here also. Here expansion, freezing and squeezing takes place and the rock becomes weak in due course of time and it has been disintegrated into different pieces. है ना? And now here on this process glacier acts as an agent. What happens? Glacier. Have you seen any glacier? आपने से कुछ देखा है? कहाँ पर? हाँ? Pardon? Fourth one. नहीं लाइफ की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. नेचुरल. जब देखेंगे तो वो समझ में नहीं आएगा कि ग्लेशियर है बेसिकली. लेकिन by the time you will be able to understand a layer of ice is covered on the hill slope. The big layer, there is a layer of ice, and what happens in winter? In winter, glacier recedes down to upper layer, and in summer it comes down. वो नीचे आता है. Means basically what happens? Melting takes place, and when ice melts, it starts rolling with the help of these pebbles. ये जो pebbles हैं, इनके साथ वो roll करता है. It starts rolling and comes down to the lower altitude also. Comparatively, जितना भी temperature होता है उसके according वो नीचे तक आता है. In this process, what happens? ये these pebbles interact with one another and collide with one another and they become eroded. है ना? ये act करते हैं, they act as a tool. ये pebbles act as a tool, है ना, to bring down the glacier downwards. And in that process they are eroded. Gradually they also erode their side walls also. अपने साइड पे जो उसके जो अगल बगल पत्थर है उसको भी वो erode करते चलते हैं. और इस तरह से these pebbles becomes eroded, and when the ice recedes down back again to the higher height, these pebbles remains, smaller particles remains at the lower level. ठीक है? So this is the situation. By this way, glacier works as an agent of erosion, and they used to form different types of landforms. है ना? Moraines का फॉर्मेशन करते हैं, बहुत सारे लैंडफॉर्म्स का फॉर्मेशन ग्लेशियर भी अपने प्रोसेस में करते हैं। और इस सारे पूरे प्रोसेस में रॉक कंपोजिशन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है। इफ द रॉक इज पेरेंट एंड इट्स नेचर इज हार्ड, वो rate of erosion will be slow, the rate of erosion will be slow, and when the rock is soft, it is soluble to water, the rate of erosion will be high. It can also depends on the variation of its size. And here we have given example of
सर क्वार्ट्ज को हम लोग से ट्रू सॉलिड में नहीं कंसीडर करते हैं।
true
सॉलिड
solid में नहीं कंसीडर करते हैं, क्यों?
सर क्योंकि उसके बीच में जो इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर स्पेस होता है ना, वो बहुत ज्यादा होता है और मॉलिक्यूल का अरेंजमेंट होता है अनइवन होता है।
Because I am not a student of science, I will not go into much details. But in terms of geography, in geography, quartz has been treated as hard rock, है ना? ये हार्ड रॉक की कैटेगरी का रॉक है, और ये माना जाता है कि इसका इरोजन जो है वो रेट ऑफ इरोजन काफी स्लो होता है, बिकॉज इट्स हार्ड रॉक। ठीक है, क्वार्ट्ज इज अ हार्ड रॉक इन कंपैरिजन टू लाइमस्टोन, है ना? और इसीलिए लाइमस्टोन की तुलना में इसका इरोजनल प्रोसेस इज वेरी स्लो बट इन कंपैरिजन टू लाइमस्टोन। ठीक है, दिस रिजल्ट्स इन रैपिड डिग्रेडेशन ऑफ लैंडफॉर्म कंपोज्ड ऑफ सॉफ्टर रॉक्स। तो सॉफ्ट रॉक्स में लैंडफॉर्म्स का फॉर्मेशन या क्रिएशन is comparatively faster than the harder rocks. Again, I am telling you, each rock type has its unique characteristics that makes it more or less resistant to different weathering events. हर एक रॉक की अपनी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है। Each rock have their own characteristics. लाइमस्टोन की भी अपनी कैरेक्टर, लाइमस्टोन में भी कुछ कंपोनेंट उसका ऐसा होगा जो हार्ड होगा, और उसका इरोजन कंपैरिजन टू लाइमस्टोन विद इन द लाइमस्टोन वो स्लो होगा, फास्ट होगा। बेडरॉक जब होते हैं लेयर्स होते हैं, रॉक्स डिफरेंट लेयर्स आते हैं। सॉफ्टर रॉक्स, अलग डिफरेंट लेयर्स आते हैं, है ना? और बिकॉज एंड बेसिस ऑफ द लेयर हार्डनेस एंड सॉफ्टनेस द रेट वेरीज। So we have discussed in detail about relief in beginning also, है ना? Relief, as I have mentioned earlier, refers to the difference of elevation, है ना? From the highest point to the lowest point. Okay, this is the highest point. And this is the lowest point. This is called relief. Okay. Yes. So difference between the highest and lowest point is known as relief. The rate of if the relief is high, the rate of erosion will be also high. If the relief is low, the rate of erosion will be low. And this is very much clear from this diagram. You might be seeing. When the land is flat, rain will come down, but it will come stranded, and it will move to the both sides. But if there is a relief of the land on the direction of relief, rainwater will flow. And uh, you will see that there are rivers. Ganga is a river. Uh, Ganga flows from
higher plains to lower plains to the lower plains.
northern mountains to
Bay of Bengal.
Bay of Bengal. So, what is this? Why Ganga is coming from northern plains and moving to the Bay of Bengal? This is because of the
river also water also flow from higher concentration to lower concentration.
higher place to lower place. This is the relief of the Ganga. And because of that relief, it flows from northern mountains to in Himalayas to the Bay of Bengal. In course of time, it has been there is a predefined course of river Ganga, and it flows to its direction. There are other factors also, different factors also, and geographical factors are there. But this is the relief through which river Ganga flows. And other rivers tributary to the river Ganga, if you will see, I'm moving out of topic, but other one river is Son or even Yamuna. You may see Yamuna also. Also, one of the largest tributary of river Ganga. Yamuna is the largest tributary of river Ganga. It flows parallel to Ganga up to a larger distance and joins to Ganga. Means Yamuna has also got its relief, and its relief was river Ganga. Highest Yamunotri to river Ganga. उसका भी रिलीफ वो डिफाइंड है ना, इसलिए वो उसको होते हुए वो प्रयागराज के पास आकर इट मर्ज विद रिवर गंगा. So because it's Ganga's tributary, one of the largest, other tributaries are the same. That is their relief from high altitude zone, from originates from which place? Son, river Son, and meets Ganga at which place? Son, Son river आप लोग देखे हैं? सुने हैं? कहाँ मिलती है गंगा में? आपके आसपास मिलती है सोन रिवर. पटना में सोन रिवर मर्ज विद रिवर गंगा एट पटना, है ना. दीघा रिवर मैरिन ड्राइव दिख रहे हैं. मैरिन ड्राइव से थोड़ा और आगे जाएंगे तो सोन का पॉइंट ऑफ कन्फ्लुएंस है ना, जहाँ सोन रिवर गंगा से मिल रही है. ठीक है. एंड इट ओरिजिनेट्स नियर अमरकंटक. ठीक है, मध्य प्रदेश. ठीक है, वहां से वो निकल रही है और ये उसका रिलीफ है, वो हाईएस्ट पॉइंट है. और उस एरिया का स्लोप ऐसा है, ग्रेडियंट इज दैट रिवर फ्लोज टू ईस्टवर्ड डायरेक्शन एंड कम्स टू जॉइन रिवर गंगा बिफोर गोइंग इनटू बे ऑफ बंगाल. सारी पानियां कहाँ जाती हैं? जितनी भी ड्रेनेज इंडिया का, अगर आप when you will study drainage of India, you will find that two drainage system is there. One eastward and another westward. Means one Bay of Bengal and another is Arabian Sea. ठीक है. India is surrounded by three types of water bodies. One is
Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal.
here is Bay of Bengal.
Yes, sir. Bay of Bengal is the Bay of Bengal. East Bay, eastward now. Sir,
There are some rivers which flows to Bay of Bengal. There are rivers which flows to Arabian Sea. See that? Like this. है ना? ये this is the characteristics of drainage relief or drainage pattern of India. ठीक है? तो this is the relief. High points to lower points. This is because of their local relief, they used to flow from high altitudes to lower altitudes and mix to any water body, है ना? Either Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea. So So it has been mentioned earlier that in the areas where relief is high, the rate of erosion is also high, है ना? And where the relief is less or no, negligible, the rate of erosion will be slow or negligible. है ना? For example, landforms developed in Himalayan region is faster than Arabian. We have discussed this. So, greater relief also results in stronger gravitational force. ये important है. This is important. Stronger gravitation results in stronger gravitational force. Relief is high, the gravitational pull will also act. है ना? More. That's why in Himalayan region, relief is high. The river water brings down huge amount of sediments along with its river bed. है ना? Big boulders. Why big boulders used to do? If the land will be flat, there is mountain. Suppose, what will happen? River volume of water in river is also high. Is river will be able to carry big boulders in it? No. Comparatively, no. Because of its relief, gravitational force works here comparatively higher than this area. We used to find that big boulders are also moving along with the river, and similar is the case with that glacier. The boulders, why these boulders were moving with the glacier? Because of the gravitational pull. And when they returned back, the glacier returned back in winter, they used to leave those boulders in that lower part, known as moraines. है ना? गोल गोल अंडा जैसा वो देखने में दिखता है, moraines का, है ना? So this is the situation. And ultimately, because nowadays what happens, because we have cleared our forest, the slopes are barren, forests are cleared, the mountain slopes are barren, completely naked. So the erosional work takes place more very fastly, and even not erosion, that is not erosional work, that is mass movement of the landforms. I used to say, in the form of landslides. बड़े बड़े लैंडस्लाइड्स आज की तारीख में हो रहे हैं, है ना? ड्यूरिंग द रेनी सीजन. Next is the geological formation. We have also discussed it. Geological formations like structure of rocks, its layers, faults, inclinations, joint presence in the rocks, within the rocks hardness, its softness, chemicals availability in the rock, all play very significant role in the formation of landform. When you will see that there is a joint. Here is a joint. How this will act? how this will support in the erosional process. Do you think?
Sir, is it if this is joint, there were several holes space.
Cracks will be there. Very good. And a crack is there, and here it will help the agents of erosion like water, and means weathering process will become fast here. Squeezing,
Contraction related.
contraction, squeeze, contract process will be fast, and this rock will disintegrate more faster. Weathering process will be faster here, and when this rock will come to the upper surface, means this is the rock of internal part, but when it comes to the upper surface, the weathering process will be fast, and this rock will be disintegrated into larger pieces more easily, more fastly than the other rocks, and the erosional agent will start working on it. है ना? Similarly, here you see pieces.
Oh,
So these are pores. है ना? These are pores. Anticline, syncline. Syncline, anticline. है ना? These are the pores. What happens? These pores also work when they comes up, है ना? Here because of its formation of the rock, है ना? Nature of the rock, erosional work will start, and in the synclines they used to deposit the materials, and so depending on the rock structure, the erosional work will take place here. Joints we have discussed. Here in the joints, if the rock character is very much similar to the soluble, that the rock is soluble to the water, here it will again accelerate the process of weathering. है ना?
sir,
Next,
orientation in which sense?
ओरिएंटेशन, फॉर्म्स है, उसका ओरिएंटेशन है किस तरह, उसका झुकाव किधर है ना? ये फॉर्म है, इसका ओरिएंटेशन क्या है? It also depends on that. ठीक है? इंक्लिनेशन, उनका झुकाव कैसा होता है, ओरिएंटेशन क्या है? अगर ये स्लोप है, this is the inclination of this part, face, है ना? What will happen? Erosional process will work along with that slope. उस स्लोप के सहारे इरोजन वर्क होगा, है ना? These are exogenic agents: sun, rainwater, running water, है ना? And these are also known as external forces. है ना? We have discussed earlier also. External forces like water, wind, glacier, currents, waves, and tides also influence the developmental process of landform. है ना? The exogenic process drive their energy primarily from the sun. Sun is the basic source of weathering and erosional process. है ना? And have their origin in the Earth's atmosphere. And its origin is Earth's atmosphere. Atmosphere से इसका origin है. High humid area में rate of erosion will be different. Dry area the rate of erosion will be different. Okay?
Humid area में rate of erosion slow होगा.
बिल्कुल slow होगा, but the temperature, if the temperature is high in humid area, temperature is high, rate of erosion will be faster, है ना? It depends on the nature. It depends on the amount of rainfall. या variation, you may say variation in the amount of rainfall and temperature. Rainfall and temperature varies from place to place. If I'm just giving you example of India. this place is near to equator. This is equator. Southern tip of India near to equator, है ना? What highest rainfall takes place in which part of India? Average rainfall, the average annual rainfall. वो तो highest rainfall.
southern part.
Southern part because of equator. Monsoon enters from this part, है ना? This direction से यहाँ पर. तो यहाँ पर because of nearness to equator, high temperature, because at high temperature, we receive highest rainfall in this part. है ना? Monsoon जब enter करता है इंडिया में,
So we are returning with future or starting with?
starting. ये area, this area receives maximum amount of rainfall. Gradually, when as we move south to north, the amount of rainfall decreases. In this part, we used to receive 200 centimeters of rainfall. At Patna, West Bengal, it becomes 150. At Howrah, near Howrah, है ना? At Patna, it becomes 120. I'm just giving example. It's very near. But while reaching to Delhi, it becomes less than 60 centimeters of rainfall. ठीक है? ये इसके पीछे there is another theory. Monsoon drops its water, है ना? As it moves south to north, it starts dropping water, है ना? And it becomes 60 centimeters at New Delhi or near Delhi, and it becomes 200 centimeters around Chennai or Kanyakumari. But here is different. We find that sun and atmosphere guide, है ना? And the force of gravity also works, है ना? Amount of temperature, amount of rainfall, and gravity means slope, or we can say relief. These three all plays very significant role in the erosional work, in the formation of landform. ठीक है? Exogenic process derive their energy primarily from sun and have their origin on the Earth's atmosphere and are guided by the force of gravity. If slope is high, if suppose this place has high temperature, A is experiencing high temperature, high rainfall, and relief is also high. But and this place B receives low temperature, low rainfall, and relief is also low. What will be the situation? Erosion will be low. Landform formation process will be also slow. है ना? Do you have any idea of this type of location anywhere? But in Arunachal Pradesh or Himachal Pradesh, you will find the relief is also high. I am telling that the place where the relief is low, rainfall is low, and temperature is also low. We will think over it. If temperature is high, just think over it. If just come, I am just giving you a situation. If one area, suppose this area is high, but this area is also comes under high, but comparatively of this area, this has low. Rate of formation of landform will be slow, है ना? Okay, तो ये important है. कभी ऐसा नहीं होगा. ये this is a situation. अगर एक प्लेस के कंपैरिजन में दूसरे प्लेस में रेनफॉल का सिचुएशन, टेम्परेचर सिचुएशन एंड रिलीफ इज लो कंपैरिजन टू अनदर प्लेस, वहां पर फॉर्मेशन लैंडफॉर्म फॉर्मेशन का जो प्रोसेस है वो डिफरेंट होगा, रेट विल बी डिफरेंट, है ना। They remove materials from one part of the earth, and in this process what happens, we used to remove material from one part of the earth to and transport them and deposit them into another part. यहाँ से हमने यूज किया है and we started depositing them into another place, है ना। आपका जो गंगा सोन रिवर से जो यहाँ सैंड हम निकालते हैं, है ना, ये सैंड कहाँ से आता है बेसिकली, ये डिपोजिशन हुआ वहां पर, लेकिन अमरकंटक के पास रिवर ओरिजिनेट कर रही है और उस पूरे प्रोसेस में उसके अरावली और जो रेंजेस हैं उसके रॉक्स को वो कट किया है, मेड अप ऑफ क्रिस्टल्स, है ना, क्वार्ट्ज टाइप ऑफ मटेरियल्स को वो कट करके आई है, मिनरल्स को, और वही सैंड्स को वो कैरी करती है और उसके रिवर बेड में यहाँ पर होता है क्वार्ट्जाइट्स होता है वो, और दैट इज बेड फॉर बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क, है ना। तो हम लोग उसका सोर्स यहाँ था और यहाँ से उसी मटेरियल को उसने वेदरिंग के प्रोसेस से लोड किया, उसको इरोजन किया, ट्रांसपोर्ट किया और यहाँ पर ला करके उसको डिपॉजिट किया। सो दिस इज द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ एक्सोजेनिक। दे यूज्ड टू move that material from one place to another place and deposit them from the place of its origin. ठीक है। Again, same thing is there. Rock disintegrates and decomposes and moves to lower elevations under gravity and are carried away by running water, moisture, wind, and tides. These are the agents which you use to in desert area. What happens? What will be the situation in desert area?
In desert area,
Suppose this is a hillock. In desert, this is a hillock. What happens? Temperature in desert. Temperature is high ultimately, and in night it becomes low. In night it becomes low. So variation of temperature is very high. Diurnal variation of temperature, daily, है ना, daily variation of temperature is also very high, and because of high temperature and variation in high and low temperature, rocks expand and squeeze. This process, this is dry area, है ना, rainfall is very low, less than 40 centimeter or 20 centimeter, है ना। तो but what happens? Rock itself expands and squeezes, and by doing this process, it becomes weakened. And after some time, the rock becomes weak and it also disintegrates into pieces. Heat से वो फैलता है। आप देखे होंगे अगर आप छत पर कोई रेलवे पटरी, रेलवे लाइन इन समर्स, वो एक्सपैंड कर जाता है वो गेट वगैरह भी, या फिर ऐसे कुछ प्लास्टिक, अगर आप कहीं प्लास्टिक का पाइप रख देंगे तो फैल जाएगा, सिकुड़ जाएगा, है ना। तो डे टाइम बिकॉज ऑफ हाई टेम्परेचर इट एक्सपैंड्स एंड इन नाइट इट बिकम्स स्क्वीज्ड आउट। मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था, आपको टेक यू एग्जांपल ऑफ दिल्ली, we have experience. There were various rock structures earlier. Now they have done plantations, so most of the area has been covered. But earlier, when we were studying, these rocks were naked, and we used to sit there in night, because what happens? Rock दिन में तो काफी गर्म हुआ, in night it cools down very fast, है ना, and that place become very pleasant area for to sit and to discuss things, है ना। So we used to sit there, and in that process we used to hear some cracking sounds, and that was coming from this rock. They were squeezing them, and so in that process, by this process, they used to weather themselves. The rock are weathered here and disintegrated into pieces. And now, what happens when they are disintegrated? Now winds start acting on it. Already sands are there. They act as a tool. I have told you earlier. है ना? They start when wind blows. They start reflecting. Or have you heard? Have you seen that picture? Which type of structure comes up? Something like this. Why this type of structure is there? It should have been straight line. सारी जगह इरोजन एक साथ होना चाहिए था, लेकिन this part we find that erosion is more. This part maybe हम देख रहे हैं कि erosion है. In lower part there is erosion. In upper part the rate of erosion is less. Why this is so?
Because of peasant, जो peasant है वो upper portion को touch नहीं कर पा रहा.
क्यों? Why?
Yeah.
और देखिए विंड ब्लो करेंगे तो विंड के स्पीड पर डिपेंड करता है. जैसे रिवर के वॉल्यूम, वाटर ऑफ रिवर, उसके स्लोप पर मटेरियल कैरिंग करने की कैपेसिटी होती है ना, कैरिंग कैपेसिटी ऑफ मटेरियल. सेम इज द सिचुएशन विद विंड. Wind also carries these stones and pebbles, है ना? But wind cannot carry winds and pebbles to much height. Okay? They used to sand particles will be carried up to our height or up to 20 feet height, 25 feet height. But in lower part, these rocks which are pebbles which are rolling, used to also make friction, है ना? And other rocks also they used to move up to this side. Because of the height, because of the carrying capacity of the wind, है ना? This part is more eroded comparison to the upper part. And this diagram, do you know the landform, name of this landform? किस तरह दिखने में लग रहा है ये? नहीं, सर्कुलर में कुछ और मशरूम टाइप स्ट्रक्चर, मशरूम का छत्ता पता है? मशरूम, है ना? तो ये दिस इज मशरूम स्ट्रक्चर. मशरूम ही लॉक कहलाता है ये, है ना? एक प्लेटफॉर्म का पता है, जैसे मोरैन हमने बताया ना कि अंडे की तरह ग्लेशियर में होता है, वो जो पेबल्स गोल गोल घूमते जाते हैं, वाइट हो जाते हैं. दिस इज फाउंड इन डेजर्ट एरिया, मशरूम्स, है ना? तो because of the carrying capacity of wind, this part is eroded more comparison to the upper part, है ना? That's why the lower part is more eroded, है ना? Here gravitational force also works. आपको ज़्यादा लिफ्ट नहीं करने देगा. वैसे 10 पार्टिकल से वेट इतना होता है कि वो विंड की इतनी कैपेसिटी नहीं होती कि वो दूर तक आए. You know the desert winds, the impact of blue or desert reaches to Patna also. Do you have idea? वहाँ की winds जो है ना, वो जो dust को लेकर चलते हैं, हो सकता है वहाँ से वो दिल्ली तक आता हो, पटना तक भी आता हो, तो वो फाइन पार्टिकल्स के फॉर्म में आते हैं. They becomes very useful for our agriculture also, है ना? वो जो मिनरल्स अपने साथ वो विंड ब्लो करके ला रहा है फाइन पार्टिकल्स के फॉर्म में, वो that becomes very useful for the cultivation, agriculture, है ना? But that is another part. वो इरोजनल वर्क नहीं करेगा ज़्यादा, लेकिन ये अपने यहाँ पर उसकी कैपेसिटी नहीं है कि वो बड़े पेबल्स को इतने दूर तक ला सके. वो रोल करते हैं, they roll, they contact with each other, they interact, है ना? And they collide with each other, and in that process they become converted to sands. Similar process है. जैसे रिवर कर रही है वहाँ, disintegrate होगा, it will become changed into small pebbles, है ना? Boulders to pebbles and to fine sand particles, है ना? And by rolling, by interacting, by colliding with each other. Yeah.
आउटसाइड ऊपर
ठीक है, ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन ये भी क्वेश्चन है आज का, और आपको कंफ्यूजन हो तो बताइएगा। नेक्स्ट इज क्लाइमेट, another important factor, है ना। We have discussed three factors which are more important. One was the bedrock, original rock structure, है ना। Second was the relief, and third comes climate. In within the climate, temperature and rainfall will be included, है ना। So temperature and humidity or rainfall are crucial climatic factors that impact land development, है ना। Rainfall, temperature is high, there is uh, there is there is contraction and expansion within the rock. Gradually, rainfall will come. It will come down to the broken part, and it will start process. है ना? So if the rock is soluble, the minerals will be soluble into the water and will drain out, and that part will become open. That part will become open. And here, this rock we just see converted into this rock, है ना, different pieces has been weathered into different pieces. Okay, and gradually it will become, the other agents of erosion will start working on it, whether rainfall, running water, wind, glacier, whatever will be applicable. And high humidity enhances chemical and biological bathing process. If the humidity is high, chemical and biological process will also increase. Humidity is high, rainfall is high. If rock has minerals, different minerals, they will they are soluble to rock. I mean water. It will act on it. And secondly, when the rainfall is high, what happens? Vegetation will take place, and these vegetations, what happens? They also work on water, and they also used to take minerals and nutritious minerals from this rocks, extract these nutritious minerals, and doing this, they used to bring cracks in the rock. They used to bring cracks in the rock, and this by this process they start decomposing, है ना? They start breaking into pieces, and another agent of water starts working on it. Again, I have several times I have told you that this process varies area-wise. And in different climatic zones, these types of activities will vary. And in hot and humid zone, the rate of erosion, process of formation of landform will be high. In comparatively less humid zone, the rate of land formation will be comparatively less. And in dry area, it will be, the rate will be different. In area in different climatic zones, it will be different, and will be also depending upon the nature of the rock type. Energy source, both internal and external, affects landform level, है ना? ये दोनों ही लैंडफॉर्म्स को इफेक्ट कर रहे हैं दो तरीके से, एक्सटर्नली एंड इंटरनल। इंटरनल एनर्जी refers to difference between convergent and divergent convectional currents within the earth, जिसकी हमने शुरू में ही चर्चा की थी आपसे। The conventional current theory says very popular theory presented by Holmes. Usually conventional current theory दिया था, है ना? तो बोलते हैं conventional current theory. In this theory, he tried to explain the internals of the earth, how energy moves, है ना? Movement of lava flow, and how it's act in the formation of landforms, ocean and landforms. दो मेजर landform, दो मेजर फर्स्ट ऑर्डर landforms की अगर हम बात करें तो continent and oceans है ना? तो he tried to explain continents and oceans, formation of continents and oceans. ठीक है, कैसे continents बनते हैं, कैसे उस पर landforms, different landforms, mountains का formation हो रहा है. He tried to explain in this theory. In this theory he explained this conventional cell theory की बात को कर रहे हैं, है ना? कैसे contribute करता है difference between different conventional cells of the earth, जहाँ where the currents merge together, दोनों current देखिए एक साथ मिल रहे हैं ना. In this part ocean floors का formation होता है, ठीक है? और जहाँ पर diverge कर रहे हैं दोनों currents different directions में जा रहे हैं, ये इधर जा रहा है, ये इधर ये इधर क्यों जा रहा है, ठीक है? ये इधर क्यों जा रहा है, यहाँ पर inclined will be formed. इससे क्या होता है, inclined यहाँ पर sedimentation, the process of sedimentation takes place, and in due course of time this space will be immersed in the form of mountains, है ना? ठीक है, और landforms. तो ये this he tried to explain in his theory, and this theory explains the internal energy, how internal energy moves within the earth crust, and plate tectonics, isostasis, convectional current theory, all these tries to explain this. While external energy in this we include the temperature variations, and wind and humidity and pressure changes. And we use in while external energy, what we used to take into account the external forces, various external agents which are working on the Earth's surface in the form of various agents in the form of guided by the heat, है ना? You just see high temperature in desert also. What happens if the temperature is high? Wind blows from. What is the characteristics of wind? Wind blows from warm area to cold area to warm area. Means low pressure to high pressure. Okay, so wind blows from low pressure to high pressure. I am just giving you this example of in the context of this. डेजर्ट्स, ठीक है, एरिड टोपोग्राफी, एरियल टोपोग्राफी, है ना. टेम्परेचर works everywhere. I have told you earlier also, sun is the prime source of, है ना, weathering. सब all type of weathering, sun or energy plays very significant role. ठीक है. So if the wind is blowing from
lower point
low areas to low pressure to high pressure, what will happen in desert area? Temperature is high here. Temperature is high. Temperature is high in desert area. Rainfall is less or nil, negligible, but still erosional process takes place because of high temperature. है ना? Because of high temperature, there is contraction and squeezing between the rocks, and rocks are disintegrated because of high temperature. If you will move from Rajasthan to nearby areas, maybe I am just telling you the parts of Gujarat which are adjacent to Rajasthan. Because of their less temperature, the rate of there may be also arid topography. वहाँ भी arid topography मिलेंगे, लेकिन but the rate of formation will be comparatively slow, है ना? तो राजस्थान से सटे मीन्स एक तो मेन डेजर्ट हो गया, और उससे आसपास का जो एरिया जो एडजेसेंट हो जाए, जैसलमेर ही के पास जो मेन डेजर्ट है, आप बीकानेर और जैसलमेर के जाएंगे, और उससे पहले जहाँ पर वो जोन ऑफ ट्रांजिशन होता है ना, उस एरिया में आप देखेंगे कंपैरेटिवली टेम्परेचर भी कम है, ह्यूमिडिटी अधिक है, तो वहाँ पर ये रेट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन हो रहा है लैंडफॉर्म का, लेकिन वो कंपैरेटिवली रेट जो है वो डिफर करेगा, वेरी करेगा, है ना. यहाँ पर काफी स्पीड फास्ट है इन टू डेजर्ट एरिया, इन दिस एरिया इट्स कंपैरेटिवली लेस. The last one is biological activities. It has been very much clear from this diagram, if you will see, है ना, how this vegetation works, है ना. The presence of vegetation can accelerate chemical weathering. I have told you earlier. Then they play important role in chemical weathering, है ना. As plant release acids and moistures onto rocks, है ना, they used to release acids and moistures onto plant, and gradually what happens, this rock over which the plant has been grown, है ना, तो क्या कहते हैं आपने, this roots play role, है ना, they extend their acids and moisture on the rock and they disintegrate, है ना, gradually the cracks emerge in this part, ठीक है, and weakens the rock, and in due course of time,
in case of big tree,
big tree, even small grass also, आप जड़ के साथ घास को काटते हैं, कुछ मिट्टी निकल के आता है उसके साथ, वो क्या करता है, वो जो छोटे छोटे उसके roots होते हैं, they enters into this upper layer of the soil and disintegrates, weakens the soil, ठीक है, उसको कमजोर करते हैं, and gradually ये सब सारी जगह पर करता है. इवन जहाँ पर हाई एल्टीट्यूड पर ये जहाँ पर प्लांट्स नहीं हो रहे हैं, वहाँ मोजेस, लीचेस, ग्रासलैंड्स हैं, तो वो ग्रासलैंड वहाँ पर उस प्रोसेस करता है शुरू, और छोटे छोटे घास हैं, पौधे हैं, और ये बहुत बारीक बारीक, लेकिन इसी से माइन्यूट आइस क्रिस्टल बस हो गया. They used to make small cracks in the rock, and freezing and thawing process takes place here, and this gradually disintegrates the larger piece of the land, and whether this by this process, by this chemical weathering process, this is called chemical weathering process. So plant is very fine example. Vegetations are very fine example of chemical weathering. That takes place not in equatorial area or in the area where rainfall is high, but also in the areas where high altitude areas where big plants are not there, and the grasses are there, grasslands are there, small grasses are there, or shrubs are there. They act there also, and they are very prominent in weathering down the large piece of lands, a large piece of rocks into smaller pieces, and they and the another agent, that is glacier or wind or gravitational pull, works on it, and they are further disintegrated into small pieces. Again, human activities have played very significant role. We all know that because of the population pressure, growth of population, cities are growing, commercial activities are increasing, and because to meet all these requirements, commercial activities, agricultural requirements, we used to started building different types of man-made structures on the earth surface, like dams, okay, factories, commercial buildings, government buildings, and all these have altered the landscape of the earth, है ना? Landscape of the earth, है ना? ने आज landforms को change किया उन्होंने, है ना? Agricultural land, earlier there was people used to say that this Kankarbaag was the area of dense forest. Now there is no evidence of dense forest. है ना? We have cleared it for the need, for our need, है ना? So this area has been earlier people used to say, even in my childhood, I am telling you, I resides near Shalimar Schools. We never come to Tempo stand, Manshi Mandir. It was far away from our house, and it was almost a very vacant area, सुनसान area हम लोग कहते हैं ना, aloof type of area. बहुत of the सुनसान area में Rajendra Nagar, we never used to go to Rajendra Nagar flyover because there the entire area was open. Vacant land were there, orchards were there, dates tree were there. Now all that trees, orchards have been cleared in due course of time. And so we have changed the landscape, landform of the earth. So and we have not changed it, we have drastically changed it. And now we are seeing the impact of this rainy season, entire Kulu. All the roads have been submerged under the river Vyas. Huge number of casualties take place. In Shimla, where landslide was not very prominent, it's in township, I'm telling you about township, but in this rainy season, some big buildings collapsed in this rain. So this is because of our human interaction. So this is all for today. I hope it would have been some use for you. In next class, we will discuss